Hey everybody, Justin here, welcoming you to otakusandgeeks.com, and today I'm going to be reviewing Thundercats Raw, Episode 1, Exodus, which I'm going to be reviewing both Part 1 and Part 2, which is available to watch on CartoonNetwork.com. So if you're curious about the show, check it out there. Now, I'm going to be doing something I haven't ever done. I'm going to be doing something I'm going to call a perspective review, because I'm so conflicted after watching this. I have never watched a show where I'm conflicted and just going, how I'm going to do this review. So I'm going to be doing a perspective review. The perspective review first is going to come from my perspective as an original 80s babies Thundercats fan, someone who grew up as a child watching the Thundercats. I was born in 86. I watched the reruns in the 90s. And then I'm going to look at it from a non-biased perspective, taking all my love from the original and just looking at the show for what it is for this generation. And I think that's a fair assessment to do. So I'm going to start off from the 80s babies perspective. And, you know, not just 80s babies, but people who grew up watching the show and love the show. And first I want to just address this little controversy. I know there's a lot of back and forth with people going, oh, people who don't like the show, they're ignorant, this is not made for them, blah, blah, blah. You have to understand something when it comes to, especially like a property like Thundercats, why people get so upset with reboots is because reboots usually do not do the source material justice. They just kind of slap it in the face. And, you know, as an artist myself, as a writer myself, I would not want somebody to take my creation and just do their own perspective without at least taking a little bit or paying respect to the tone of that I laid down for. It's kind of like, oh, I'm just going to take your characters and do my what if and call it a day. If they did that and call it a what if, cool. Now, what happens with this is this. The original Thundercats, and this is why a lot of people are so upset, because the original Thundercats was a coming-of-age story. It's about a kid who woke up in an adult body, and he has to learn not only to be an adult, but he also has to learn to be the leader of his people. That was an amazing story. It's something that's really heavily missing in today's cartoons. And you guys can, if you know some, please leave some recommendations. A lot of cartoons these days lack morality. It lacks those lessons that taught kids. I can name a couple off the back of my hand. Shows that actually had some lessons. Thundercats always had a lesson at the end. G.I. Joe with of course the PSA, but it still has some lessons in there. Hey Arnold, my favorite cartoon of all time, has some great morality episodes in there. And I don't really see that today. That's why a lot of my friends and a lot of my family members that have kids, they're raising their kids, like, even with the new Disney Plus, they're showing them Darkwing Duck. Even with Hulu, they're showing them Hey Arnold. They're showing them the original cartoons that we grew up with because of that morality. And Thundercats, every character had some type of obstacle. They had something to help them progress and grow. And when you look at Thundercats Raw and you look at what they did with the characters, it's kind of a mockery. It's an insult to what was established in the 80s with Lionel being this person, a fish out of water story where they have to adapt to Third Earth. They have to face Mumm-Ra, the mutants. Lionel had to learn humility. Lionel had to learn trust. Lionel had to get rid of arrogance because he was very arrogant. And Jaga was the one teaching him this along the way. What they do with Jaga in this, it was just like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm Jaga. I died on Thundera, you know, when it blow up, and he's a punchline. Everything in Thundercats Raw is a punchline. It's a joke. It's not taken seriously at all. And that's why the 80s original fans are completely pissed off. They weren't mad at the original attempt at the remake or reboot with Real Fidel because it took it seriously. It was actually pretty decent remake. This one is just, hey, let's go the whole comedy route. Not everything can be comedy, especially with depending on tone. And Thundercats is not a comedy, is not a tone show or a material that is comedy. You have people that just literally lost their planet. They're on a new planet. They have to adapt. A kid has to grow into an adult and lead his people. That's some serious themes and serious situations. It's about growing pains. It's a coming of age story. So to see what they did with Lionel, to make him this buffoon that just always wants to fight and just makes constant stupid jokes and he's just stupid. It's just dumb. It really is, like what they did with the character. It's insulting, to put it bluntly. If you're a really fan of the original cartoon, you're gonna watch this and you're like, yo, this is a fuck you. This is like, wow. Like, they didn't even take anything serious with this. Like, this is messed up. Like, wow. Like, even Chitara. Like, the first thing we hear about Chitara is, I'm the most popular Thundercat. Oh, where's gonna be my fans on this planet? Like, cause I have fans on Thundera. That's superficial. Chitara was never superficial. Chitara was like the wisdom of the Thundercats. Not everybody had wisdom, but she was like the one that really humbled Lionel. I remember a great episode where I think Lionel, she said something about pride. She was like, she said, yeah, being confident is one thing, but being prideful is foolish. And this is when Lionel thought he could take on, I think, all the, I forgot those creatures. It's been a long time. The slaves of Mumm-Ra, those guys. And, it's just, for me, from an 80s baby's perspective, and, someone who grew up watching this and seeing I remember even just to have such great quotes of lessons and morality in it. Just not to mention just the animation was gorgeous. It was beautiful. And, I think I've said too much because I'm running 7 minutes. I don't want this to be too long. But for the most part, you guys, from an 80s perspective, guys, girls, and whatever, from an 80s perspective, it's terrible. What they did with the characters, even Chitara, Pantro, Wily Kit, Wily Cat. I think Wily Kit and Wily Cat's the ones it's like the most close to the original of what they were, but it's still just ridiculous. Snarf is just there. What they did with Jaga made his death a joke, or makes him a joke as a narrator. And yeah, from an 80s perspective, this is I will say, just continue to watch the original, and I actually want to say this too, in defense of the show, of Thundercats Raw. We have to stop getting upset with reboots. I don't like them either. They're not going anywhere. I will get upset with reboots if we cannot find any copies of the original. They completely erased every single copy on the planet, and we're stuck with this. Then it's time to rile up the pitchforks. It's a new generation. They like different things than us. We are basically our parents. Things that we thought were that our parents thought were completely silly and stupid, we are those people now, okay? So I just wanted to throw that out there. We have to stop getting upset, foaming at the mouth, stop attacking creators and people who have different visions and things like that, even if we don't agree with it. I just wanted to get that out the way. It's not like we can't watch the originals. I'm going to watch the original after watching this, because that's the one I like. Now, from the perspective of a non-biased lens, and looking at it from the new generation's perspective, is Thundercats Raw a good show? It has its moments. I will say that. It has its moments. I think for children out there of this generation that like this type of art style, that like this type of animation, that like this type of humor, they're going to have a ball with this. They're going to laugh, they're going to play, they might even emulate. This might actually get some new Thundercats fans for a new generation. It's not going to be the one we know, the serious tone one. It's going to be the comedy version. And you know what? That's not bad. That's okay. We have to keep in mind this is not for us. And what they do with Lionel, yes, he's silly, he's stupid. it's a comedy now. The tone is comedy. They're trying to make children laugh. That's what the goal is. Then if what does that from a child's perspective, I think they probably succeeded. The animation, it's like I said, I'm not a big fan of it. I just don't like the way the design. I like my animation. I like my bodies to look like bodies. I'm not a fan of this type of art style. I would say the voice acting, the voice actors that they got, I thought they did a stellar job. I thought their performances are great for what it is. I think the script and dialogue could use a little tuning up. One thing I definitely have to give them credit for is that they did keep the brilliant soundtrack. The original music is there, so they do have that. There is a little bit of action in there, but it's not something that's gonna wow you. Obviously, compared to the original, action it's okay for what it is. What they done with Mumm-Ra, they made Mumm-Ra look like a really just it made Mumm-Ra a punchline as well. Now he can just like attack anybody who says his name. I don't know how he can hear it, but he can attack people. Oh, that's right. He can look at it through his little mirror thing, whatever. So what they do with the characters, like I said, everybody's a joke. Everybody has punchlines. Pantro, he can be funny at times. Pantro, I would say, is probably the most likable character. Lionel, you're gonna hate. Even I think the kids are not gonna like Lionel because he's just so goofy. I think Tiger and Pantro will probably be this generation's favorite. I'm not a fan of what they did with Chichara. They kind of make her kind of like this kind of cheerleader valley girl. Like, oh my god, I just want to be popular, and that's just, we gotta get away from that trope. I think that trope is just dead and gone. I think there's plenty of other ways to write characters, female characters, and have them be funny without going that route. But for the most part, from a production standpoint, it's not bad. If I'm gonna give it from a story standpoint, there was a little bit of chuckles in there from a story standpoint. Like I said, it's not terrible. It's not like a D or an F. I'll give it a C minus, and that's mainly due to the acting. There are a little couple of cool scenes in there I think that the kids will enjoy. Keep in mind, this is from a kid's perspective of this generation. I think the new generation will enjoy a little bit of it. I think it needs some serious improvement when it comes to jokes and delivery. Some of the jokes are just kind of like, okay, really? This is not really funny at all. But comedy is subjective. What would be not funny for me could be hilarious for you. So overall, I'm going to give this a C minus from the non-biased lens. It's not something I will highly recommend, but if you're curious about it, check it out. You will get some type of entertainment from it. It's not as terrible as I thought it was going to be. I think the voice acting really saves it because they have a lot of energy with it, and I think they have a great cast behind it. Story can use a lot of work, and I think the mutants were cool. How they handled the mutants was pretty decent. But overall, this is not the Thundercats for me, but it might be for you. And I think that's fair enough to say. It's not my cup of tea, but you might enjoy it. So I will say, if you're curious about the show, if you at least want to see what all the hoop and hollering is about, check it out at CartoonNetwork.com. I'm not sure when it's going to air, but I'll leave that on the description once I find out. So this is Justin from OtakusandGeeks.com. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later days. If you like what we do here, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. But most importantly, visit OtakusandGeeks.com and check out our other articles. We cover everything from anime to movies, toys. We do it all. Mostly everything in geek culture. So definitely check us out, and thank you for your support. We'll catch you on the next one. Later days.